but I will.
Okay, guys, I am like so mad right now because I thought I was recording the whole part 2, and then I stopped it, and then it was like 26 seconds. It recorded 26 seconds. It said it was recording, and so I'm really upset. And now I have to film the whole thing over again. Well, just part 2. I have to film it over again. But yeah, as if I weren't already mad because of the lame cap. But yeah, okay. So where did I leave off? I think, yeah, Walter was getting mad at Belle, and I was saying that Belle is kind of a good guy, I think, because, I mean, even though he seems kind of sketchy, I think he's deep down a good person. He's just trying to help and whatnot. And how would you be mad at Leonard Nimoy? I mean, he's pretty tight. So, they're at the lab and stuff, and they fight, and yada yada. So then, Olivia goes to her apartment, and then she looks in her refrigerator and gets out this food, and then she's walking, and then suddenly, Olivia comes out of nowhere, and she's got her gun and awesomeness stuff, and, like, she was like, take me to Peter Bishop. I need to speak to him, please. And then Olivia was like, oh, I see what this is about. Are you guys a couple? Is that what this is all about? And I was like, hey, maybe you got the right idea, but don't get me wrong, I like hate Olivia now. I'm like ashamed to have this hairstyle after watching that episode. But anyway, so she's like, please, I just need to speak to Peter Bishop. And then I don't remember who this was on Tumblr, so sorry if I'm not crediting you. But they made this like screen cap, and they had a little caption. It was like, take me to Peter Bishop or I will blow your brains out, bitch. And it was pretty awesome. So yes, whoever you are, that's a cool little graphic you made. So, she's, like, trying to get her to take her to Peter Bishop and whatnot, but then, like, Olivia sees this photo of her mother, she's like, is that Mom? Is she still alive? And then Olivia's like, yeah, and she's like, oh, do you have a sister? And then she's like, no, she died in childbirth. She's like, oh, I have a sister, Rachel, and a niece, Ella. And it's kind of like a little touching moment when they realize, like, what they've lost, and, like, what's over here, what's over there, and whatnot. Wow, I'm saying whatnot way too much, I'm sorry. So then she's like, please, trust me, I'm you. But then Olivia knows that Walter did was like, oh, their muscles are their skin, don't trust them. So then, suddenly, Olivia's like, oh, you keep your extra gun in your purse, or something like that. And then she's like, yeah, she's like, well, I keep mine in my jacket. And I was like, oh no, but then they have this really, like, epic bitch fight, and they're, like, punching and all this crazy stuff. But then, Olivia gets Olivia, and she's, like, about to choke her, but then Olivia, like, reaches for some massive thing, this trophy-looking thing, and then bangs her across the head, and then she, like, ties her up and stuff. So then, Walter and Belle find the little doorstep to the alternate universe, or doorstop. I'm not sure which one it is because they said doorstop before, and now they're saying doorstep. They suck, these recaps again. So, after the bitch fight, Olivia dyes her hair. Okay, still recording. Okay. I have to be careful with that now because hopefully that won't happen again. So, Olivia dyes her hair to look like Olivia and stuff, and, then she uses Olivia's little handset to look up Peter's address. So then Olivia exits the apartment, and then Charlie's like, oh, hey, Liv, because he thinks it's Olivia. But then Olivia's in shock for a second because she hasn't seen Charlie, so she's like, oh, hey, Charlie. So then she says that they have a new assignment, and they have to move Peter, and then Charlie's like, oh, I'm surprised they even found him. So, yes, they need to move Peter, so they go to the apartment and stuff, and well, before they get there, Peter's, like, looking at the power source thing for, the big machine that Walter was talking about. He's talking to this recording device, saying that, and then he realizes that it needs a human to work, specifically him, and the device, like, clamps onto his arm like that and whatnot. It was, like, freaky. But then he's interrupted because Charlie and Olivia are there and stuff, and, so they come in. He's like, hi, and then Olivia likes to, well, I mean, not Olivia, but I think it's Olivia, starts talking, and then Charlie gets kind of confused while she's talking because she's like, oh, you know, we need to move you because you're in danger here, and she shows the drawing of the device that the observer gave her, and she's like, I think it means to tell you that you're not meant to be over here, and that your friends are here, and then suddenly she just knocks Charlie out of the summon. It's pretty badass. And then she takes his little headset thing, I think, right? I don't know. But she knocks him out anyway, and then she's like, Peter, it's me, and Peter's like, oh yeah, I just kind of realized that. So then, Peter, is talking to Olivia now that they're in love. My favorite scene ever. So, and he says that, Walter had told me that this was the key to fixing all of this size problems, that's really meant to destroy the other universe. And then this scene is like the best part ever that I was talking about. So Olivia's like, Peter, you don't belong here. And then he's like, yeah, but I don't belong over there either. And she's like, yes, you do. I've thought of 100 reasons why you should come back to save the world, to take care of... Oh, wait, I'm saying it in the wrong order. To find the shapeshifters, to take care of Walter, to save the world. But in the end, you have to come back because you belong with me. And then they kiss, and it's like the most epic television kiss ever, and it's like awesome. So, yeah. They kiss, but then, Olivia escapes her barn somehow. I don't know how, because Olivia, like, tied her up pretty well. But anyway, she meets Walter at the Fringe headquarters, and then they find that Olivia is going to the opera house with Peter and stuff, so Colonel Broyles sends out the teams to go get Olivia. And, so Walter and Belle, and here, they don't even capitalize the B in Belle. I mean, what the hell? Hey, that rhymed, but no matter. Anyway, that sucks. So they're getting the device and putting it in the opera house, and Olivia and Peter pull up in the car, and then Belle's like, oh, you're holding up better than I would have expected. I don't know what that means, but, well, I mean, now that he's in this universe or whatever. So then the police arrive, and then Belle, like, is telling them to use these little weapons that he created and stuff, and he has, and then this part's kind of funny because he gives, like, these phosphorus grenades to, Olivia, and he's like, here, you have to be really careful with them, and she's like, well, what do you mean? He's like, just don't jostle them. I don't know, it sounded kind of funny. So, yes. So, after that whole thing, then, it buys some time because Walter and Peter are setting up the device inside the opera house. So, then, wait, webcam, are you there? Hello? Okay, sorry. So, then Olivia and Colonel Broyles get word from Walter and then they nod to each other secretly. I don't remember that scene, but okay. So then, they're all fighting and stuff, and explosions, and Olivia is, like, shooting everyone, and she, like, she tried to shoot Belle, and then Belle wakes up, and Olivia's over him. She's like, oh, are you okay? We have to get to the opera house. So, and the street's, like, totally empty. So then, Olivia says she used one of the grenades, and then they go into the theater, so Walter and Peter are waiting with the device, and Walter turns it on, but Olivia doesn't have the power to keep the doorstop open. The doorstop, I guess. I think they said doorstop twice and doorstep once, so I'm pretty sure they mean doorstop. Anyway, so Belle's like, oh, I will be the power source and stuff, and Walter's like, oh, thank you, old friend, and stuff, and because he could be the power source, but his atoms are ready to split apart at the slightest provocation because of how many times he's crossed over and stuff. So, Belle then also confesses that he removed parts of Walter's brain because Walter asked him to because he was afraid of what he was becoming. So then the Fringe team enters this theater, and Belle uses his energy to power the doorstop, and then his body explodes, but then they get back to this universe in time, and it's all happy because Broyles is like, oh, welcome home, yada yada, and now I'm gonna go to part 3. I remember to look at the clock. Oh yeah.